Next question is from Kadar on YouTube. Hey there. Which IBU calculator are you using, Adam? Good question, Kadar. I went to school with a guy that we called Kadar. His last name was Cedar, but we called him Kadar. Kadar the Destroyer. Hope you're doing well, Kadar. I think you're I think it's been a while, man. It's been it's been almost 30 years. Yeah, hope you're doing well. Kadar was a dude. He lifted a bunch of weights. Big and strong guy. You know what I mean? Big and strong guy. But Kadar wants to know which IBU calculator I am using. Good question. I actually had to go look it up. I was pretty sure that this is what this is, but the preset in Beersmith is Tinseth, and I have been using Tinseth for some time. I think the biggest thing when it comes to IBU calculators, they're not necessarily gospel, right? They're not necessarily foolproof. I think they can be very, very accurate for what I'm looking to do, especially with my 60-minute, my boil editions, my bittering editions, my Arcworld bittering editions. Hops that are going to be boiled for 60, 70 minutes, whatever. I feel very good about what I'm going to be getting out of it from there. I do feel like that the closer I slide to flame out, the less reliable those numbers get. For instance, I used to make an IPA when I was at Cranker's Brewery in Big Rapids, Michigan, the city with no pity. I used to make an IPA there called Professor, and that beer was in 15 barrels, 4 ounces, a handful of Magnum at 60. And then it was over a pound per barrel in Whirlpool. Okay. And we had that lab tested, and it came out low 60s in the IBU department. I feel as if, though, if you just tasted that beer, it probably drank closer to 35. I personally find that the more I slide that hopping load closer and closer to flame out, especially in flame out, I feel like I get about half the impression that what the calculator tells me I'm going to get is. Okay. That's just the math that I do in my mind. And that's what I find to be true in the glass. Okay. You can have a beer that reads 120 IBU, but it tastes like half that in the glass. Okay. A lot of that comes down to how the beer is structured. But yes, to answer the question directly, I'm using Tinseth. One thing I will do is I think Beersmith does a little bit better job of calculating those Whirlpool editions. I remember what I used to do back in the day for Whirlpool editions, because I was using, I think when I started on the pro side, I might have still been using Pro Mash. I could be wrong. But I used to have to fib and tell Pro Mash that those Whirlpool editions, especially on the pro side, the larger volume side, 15 barrel side, that I was telling it was a 20-minute edition. And then it would get me closer to what it would actually represent in the glass. But as far as hop calculators go, be aware of what it's doing, what it's telling you with your late editions. And because if you're doing a big fat IPA late hopping edition, it is going to give you something. So if it gives you 0, it's not telling you the truth. It's not doing what you want it to do for that. Okay. But big picture, I think it's just best to stick with one, pick one and stick with it, and then make adjustments from there, right? Create a standard, stick with it, and roll with it. I think that's the best way to go when worrying about your IBU calculator. Okay. That's my take on it, Kadar. Hope you're well and brewing good beer.